After putting a review together for Casablanca, I figured it would be fun to take a look at the Looney Tunes spoof, Carrotblanca. This was part of a new batch of Bugs Bunny cartoons that came out in the 90s. It makes a lot of sense, as Casablanca and Looney Tunes were both very successful for Warner Brothers in their own right. So, combine them together. I first saw this short from a tape that I picked up at a thrift store several years ago. And, yeah, I still have it. Figured I would just kind of do a few loops around, just in case this is something nobody else has seen before. There are actually other shorts on here, with Carrotblanca being the first one, as well as the main attraction. But there were a few other ones from the 90s era as well. The last one I remember involved Elmer Fudd and Daffy Duck being stuck in a slasher movie. When I first saw this, I never saw Casablanca, and I was able to have quite a fair bit of fun with it. I thought the humor, the slapstick, as well as all the other elements fit just as well as any other Looney Tunes cartoon. However, after watching Casablanca, I gained a much better appreciation for this spoof, and, well, it honestly helped clear up some of the major plot points that completely went over my head on the first viewing of Casablanca. So, let's pop this tape in the old VCR, and we'll do a review of it. In the opening shot, you can see that the animators did their homework. The text is the same, and the credits are projected on a map of Africa, as well as famous shots from the film. The Nazi delivering the news is Foghorn Leghorn, who notes the courier was knocked out by a huge frying pan. Classic Looney Tunes. We then zoom into the sheepdog and Yosemite Sam, I think playing the part of General Trasser. Sadly, there's no Reno in this short. They make their way to Carrotblanca, which is quite a tourist trap given the Las Vegas-style sign. We then see Rick's Café American has been changed to Café Olé American. Inside, we see Daffy is playing the part of Sam. Quite appropriate, giving his dueling pianos with Daffy Duck in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Tweety also flies inside to create the camera sweeping effect from the film. Tweety needs to speak to Bugs Bunny right away. Bugs is playing the part of Rick, and instead of smoking, he's eating carrots. I also love how there is a big reveal with Bugs doing his best Humphrey Bogart impression. Tweety says they have an important document and need Bugs to hide it. Bugs is smart to the situation, saying, "It's got to be the German document." This is when Tweety does their best Peter Lorre impression. I find this really funny, as Peter Lorre has been a caricature in many a Looney Tunes cartoons. So here, it makes sense. This time the reference is a lot more subtle. So in Casablanca, there is a scene where Victor is trying to get the important papers from Rick. He attempts to guilt him by saying that this will be a great help to the state. Just like here. Tweety says the documents will be of great importance to the state. But just like Rick, he doesn't care. Bugs takes the document in the promise of getting a dame. Just then, Sylvester, Victor Laszlo, and the cat Pepe Le Pew always chases around, Elsa, come in through the door. It's a nice touch that the couple come in with the French national anthem playing. This is, of course, followed by Tweety saying, "They are two putty cats." As Sylvester and Kitty come to sit down, she is, of course, assaulted by Pepe. He sure is dressed an awful lot like Reno. As if the love triangle in the original wasn't enough. Sylvester protests when Kitty mauls him. There's a knock at the door, which turns out to be Yosemite Sam and the driver, just driving the car right into the place. He goes right up to Bugs Bunny, demanding the document. In stark contrast to the movie, Tweety told Yosemite everything. I guess this is sort of like how Rick plants the letters on Victor, but there was an ulterior motive there. Yosemite makes the mistake of saying, "I want that paper." So Bugs, I guess bored of the conversation, pulls out a newspaper and starts reading it. Bugs rolls it up, and Yosemite Sam plays the part of the dog. Yosemite follows the paper all the way to the basement, full of chickens. I guess the food at the Café Olé is fresh? We go back to Sylvester, trying to get a waiter, but he has no luck, and slowly losing his patience in the process. He leaves Kitty behind to talk to Daffy. Just like the movie, she wants to hear As Time Goes By. But Daffy knows how Bugs feels about that song. Still, he plays it, or at least the first note, before Bugs rips his head off. So in turn, Daffy throws Kitty under the bus. Just like in the movie, seeing her again sends him to a flashback. At first, the good times, and then the fateful goodbye. Now I remember the Sam in the movie was carrying all the bags, but in Looney Tunes fashion, it's played up to the nth degree here. Also, gotta love the small detail of the rain here. We then see Bugs and Daffy getting drunk off of carrot juice, where both give their standard women speech. If this cartoon actually came out in the 40s, you can bet it was alcohol. Kitty comes through the door. Daffy tries to kick her out, but he gets kicked out instead. Kitty goes to Bugs, wanting help, as Sylvester has been arrested. However, Bugs has had enough of her, so she begins to cry. Well, Bugs is a sucker and goes along with it. We then jump to Yosemite, giving Sylvester a grilling over the document. Just then, Bugs comes in saying he's not interrogating Sylvester right, so he interrogates Yosemite. Through Bugs' multiple characters, Yosemite pleads guilty and locks himself in a cell. Certainly better than his fate in the movie. In the cell, Yosemite realizes he's been tricked. Before he can get after Bugs, he's distracted by... Well... Huh. I get the feeling I should be offended by it, but I'm not going to give it the satisfaction. I'm going to ignore this and go to the next scene at the airport. There, Bugs gives Sylvester the important document. It turns out to be plans to Goofy glasses. Something that will make him rich in America. Kitty doesn't want to leave, and I love how for this scene, they seamlessly blend two famous movie quotes together.
Listen, Kitty, if you don't go with him, you'll regret it. In this crazy world, the lives of 3 people don't amount to a...
Yeah, hill of greens, hill of greens.
For those wondering, the phrase is actually hill of beans. Also, you gotta love how in this interpretation, Victor Sylvester is quite a jerk. Sylvester tries on the silly glasses. When the stewardess turns out to be Pepe, she jumps from the plane, and like any cat, lands on her feet. The pair embrace when Kitty's parachute goes off. That's when Bugs Bunny says,
He's looking for you, kid. Kid. Oh, kid.
Then the end is Peter Lorre saying,
It's all folks.
So that's Carrotblanca. Despite coming out in the 1990s, I think it's able to capture the same humor, level of energy as the originals. Slapstick is on point, as well as Bugs' ability to be able to manipulate time and space. While Mel Blanc is unfortunately passed on by this point, I feel the replacements do a very good job recreating the mannerisms of all these iconic characters. What's rather fun about this parody is that it both shows tribute to the original, but also mocks it at the same time. For instance, revealing what the letters are supposed to be. And Rick's hate of As Time Goes By being played up to the nth degree. It's a lot of fun. Even if you haven't seen the original, I still think the humor stands up very well on its own. So that's all I've got for my review. I hope you enjoyed my video, and until next time, keep having fun.